What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talkin Sports with Jake. Hope we're all doing well. So, first, let's talk about a big trade. There was a couple of trades that happened in the NHL. The first one that broke yesterday was the New Jersey Devils acquired a goalie that they desperately needed. I talked about this yesterday in my NHL offseason preview series. That they gotta get a goalie, and they got one. They make a trade to acquire Jacob Markstrom from the Calgary Flames. They've been discussing them basically since before the trade deadline this past season to try and get Markstrom from the Calgary Flames. They're able to pull it off. They make the move to get him. So he became a full-time backup back in 2016 with Vancouver. Had 2 strong seasons there. Then took over as a starter in 2018 in Vancouver. He had 3 really solid years in Vancouver. Then in 2021 he went to Calgary, had another good year. These are his years that he had. 2018 he had 57 games started. This is 2018, 23, 26.7. Obviously, goalie records can be a little faulty. Team's bad. They're probably going to have a not so great record. The team's really good. They're going to have a good record. It's what really matters. The goals average against the same percentage. So yeah, 271, 912 in 2019 with Vancouver. 60 games, 277, 912 in 2020 with Vancouver in the pandemic shortened year. Yeah, 275, 918. And he got a big deal. Go to Calgary that year. Balanced minutes, one healthy, had a very good year. 268, 904. Had his best year 2022. So this is a couple of years ago. This is 2 seasons ago. We had 222, 922 was must go in late in 63 games. Last year, bit of a down year. 292, 892. That was the worst year of his career since he became a full-time starter. And then this year, again, balanced some injuries, but in 48 games, he's had a better year. 278, 905, much closer to his career average for his career. 485 career games, 468 career starts. He's a career 273 GAA, 909 save percent with 20 shutouts, putting 9 in 2022. So he's overall a very solid goalie. He goes to, I think, a better spot in New Jersey when it comes to the team in front of him. Kind of needed a fresh start, and he gets one. Devils get a solid goalie that they really needed. In return, the Flames pick up a 2025 first-round pick. Let's pick up a young defenseman in Kevin Dahl. This is a young player for them to develop. He's still just 23 years old. Had a pretty good year this year. Played every single game for the Devils. A goal, 10 assists. Was solid defensively on the back end. Still 23. Calgary's, they need to retool desperately. And now they got a young player from to evaluate. Yeah, I'm sure he'll be they're still one of their top defensemen heading into the season this next season. And the Devils got a very good goalie. Calgary had some salary. They get a first-round pick. And but yeah, so that was for a trade to happen. The Devils now need to go up promise on a couple defensemen. Dougie Hamilton's really good. I like Jonas Siegelhofer, but they probably need another solid defenseman or two. They already have plenty of offense, pushing that top 6. So you think in the East teams they're going to be there? The Rangers will be there. Bulls will be there. Obviously, Florida will be there. You think? I'm going to go through teams. Carolina might lose some pieces. They should at least be in the playoffs. And then so that's pretty open after that. So that they probably should get into if they make the playoffs at least, but obviously a long way to go. But this is a really good start from them getting a good goal in. And another trade was made between the Columbus Blue Jackets and the Los Angeles Kings. So Columbus, the Washington Capitals made a move with it was another trade that happened. This one was a little simpler. It was a 1-for-1 trade between the Washington Capitals and Los Angeles Kings. By the way, check out the Kings' new logo. It looks very, very smooth and very sweet. I like it a lot. The Capitals acquire Pierre-Luc Dubois from the Kings. They send goalie Darcy Kemper the other way. It's a good move for the Washington Capitals. They pick up Pierre-Luc Dubois, who slight down year this past year. total 16 goals, 24 assists, and 40 points. He had back-to-back years of at least 27 goals and 60 points. He's been up and down throughout his career. Had 20 goals and 48 points in his rookie year in 2018 in Columbus. Ended up with having 27 goals and 61 points the following year. Then he had 2020, slight down, not really down year. That was a shortened NHL year because of the COVID. He had 18 goals and 49 points, so on pace for about that 64-point mark. Then he got traded to Winnipeg at the Delmon in the 21 year. He had a bit of a falling out there with the whole stuff. He obviously didn't get along with John Tortorella. Overall, he had a injury-plagued year that year. Only had 21 points and 9 goals. Bounced back 3 years ago rather, in Winnipeg. 20 goals, 60 points, followed up with 27 goals and 63 points the following year. But down here this year with the Kings, 16 goals and 40 points. But he's still only 26 years old. He's still only going to be in his age 26 season. He's still one of the better left wings in the game. It's a guy who was third with 30 goals before. He's got 4 20-goal seasons. Hit 27 twice, 28 once. And he's had over 60 points 3 times. Career high of 63 not this year, but the year prior, his last year in Winnipeg. So didn't keep his head screwed on track. He's a very good player. He's a really good top 6 wing and a nice get for Washington Capitals. And he's still really young, so he fits for a timeline. They send Kemper. Kemper's been in the league for a while. He's going to be 34. Did not have a good year this year. He had a save percentage of just .890. GAA was .331. He's been in the league for a while. Was a backup for a long time. Started in Minnesota. Was always a good backup for the most part. Was in Minnesota for a while. Then he actually spent a little time with the Kings. He spent briefly in 2018, and then he went to Arizona, where he actually ended up took over the starting job there in 2019. Had a phenomenal year, 2.33 GAA and a save percentage of .925. Followed up another phenomenal year in 2020, though he missed a lot of time with injuries that year. In 21, little regression, but also a lot of injuries. He even played 30 games in either of those years. In 22, he goes to Colorado. Had a really good year as their star, 2.54 and .921 save percentage. He ended up in Washington 2 years ago, where he regressed, had 2.87 and .908 save percentage. Regressed even more this year, and again, a lot of injuries. 8.9, 3.31. So he's been a bit inconsistent throughout his career. For his career, he's a 2.61 per GA and 9.14 save percentage. So for his career, he's been a solid goalie. He's had a couple of really good years. He's had a couple not so great years. He started as a backup. Overall, was a very good backup, and he developed into a good starter. He goes to the Kings, where he spent time briefly in 2018 behind Jonathan Quick. But didn't have a good year. He's getting older. The Kings, to me, they need better goaltending. Last year, you made the move to get a Luc Dubois, and you have one of the top sectors in the league, and everyone was saying, "Oh, this seems to be really good." I said at the time, they will go as far as the goaltending takes them. As far as taking, I think they were the 7th seed in the West, and you lost in the first round. So now maybe they are retooling. You send Luc Dubois away. You bring in an older goaltender. They were retooling. You think they want to get younger, so you're giving away soon to be 26-year-old forward who just had 40 points and has had over 63 times in his career, and he's still only going to be 26 for a 34-year-old goalie who hasn't been, I would say, a top half of the league starter in 3 years. This year was terrible. Well, the year before that was okay, but his year when he was in Colorado was the last time he was a really good goaltender. If he's healthy, he could be a very solid backup, maybe an okay starter in a platoon. But he is now a Los Angeles King. But this is a really good move for Washington Capitals, who obviously got very close to making the playoff here, just short. And now you get a nice boost to your top sector, left to block. But all right, let's shift to basketball. Then we'll continue my NHL season series. But let's to my NBA offseason series. So they were doing the Phoenix Suns. So the Suns this year put all their eggs in one basket, and Bradley Beal, you give up every single draft pick you possibly had, and took on that albatross of a contract. You sent out Chris Paul. He had just gotten in a trade that he traded Chris Paul, Golden State, and you get Jordan Poole. I flipped that one around. But you see, you get Bradley Beal from the Washington Wizards. Miguel, I was right the first time you sent Bradley Beal over to Washington for again, but getting pulled out and signing Golden State. But you pick up Bradley Beal for Chris Paul, you throw into, and basically every draft pick you have. And I said at the time, this is not going to work. This is like the Nets all over again. Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal. Yes, those guys three individually are great players. Durant is obviously a Hall of Famer, still one of the best players in the league. Incredible talented scorer. Devin Booker is a stud. Bradley Beal's a really good player. Not very overrated. He is a good player. And then they tried to pick up, they make the move to get Jusuf Nurkic, Grayson Allen, Eric Gordon, thinking that was going to help. And they ended up being the 6th seed in the West and got stuck in the first round by Minnesota. People tried to tell me going into that series, they're like, someone's going to win. I'm like, no, the hell they are not. I thought it might go 6 or 7 games. I think they were going to swept. They are not going to win that series. And people didn't listen to me, but that's okay. Comes to free agents, not a ton. Recently, he picked up at the trade deadlines. He's a free agent. If Thaddeus Young, Bobo, that's really it. You do have a 22nd pick this year, as well as second pick in the second round. After that, they are struggling with draft picks. They have Brooklyn's pick next year. They have the least terrible of themselves, Orlando, and Washington, or they could swap with Memphis in 26 and 27. They have Brooklyn's pick. 28, Brooklyn can swap with them. So they have Brooklyn's pick in 29. So they don't have their own pick till 2030. They don't have their own pick after this year for the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Oh, and money-wise, they are already, over that second apron. They're already paying luxury tax. So that's they don't even have the taxpayer mid-level exception. They have nothing, like nothing at all. Like it's bad. So I'm not sure what they're supposed to do. You got Durant, who's a great player, but he's also a complete coach killer. Obviously very soft. He's due $51.1 million next year, and then he's got another year after that. He's going to be 36 years old. He has trouble staying on the court. But he's healthy this year. Bradley Beal, he's always been overrated. People are like, he averaged 30 a game in Washington. Yeah, on the freaking Wizards. He goes to Phoenix and was a shell of himself. To be honest, he's always hurt. Very overrated. He's a good starting shooting guard. He'll average 23 for you, but not the best athlete in the world. He's just an okay passer, not a good defender. To me, he's overrated. And you have Devin Booker, who's a stud. He's maybe the shooting guard in the game besides Anthony Edwards, I would say. Absolute stud, assassin, 3-level scorer. But, he can only do so much. And that was, his extensions kept kicking in. So they got 3 guys due before $49 million. You got Durant, 51.1, Beal at 50.2, which is albatross. And Booker's extensions, the estimated about $49.3 million this year. But Jusuf Nurkic is completely washed. He's not the scorer he once was, the shooter he once was, horrible defender, always hurt. Too many injuries throughout his career. Grayson Allen had a good year this year. He didn't get suspended finally. He's not a bad guy to have on your bench. Decent scorer, good defender. That's about it. Lazir Little's a death piece. Eric Gordon's washed. Okogie sucks. And there's nothing else. Drew Eubanks lucky to be in the NBA. He's an average backup center at best. Damian Lee's lucky to be in the NBA. This team is not that good. They are terrible defensively. They are very thin. Have no depth. There is not a point guard on this roster. Frank Vogel strikes off and all this. Yeah, I need a point guard. I need one of those. You're like, oh no, take the ball away from Durant, Beal, and Booker. Good lord. I ranted about that. I already ranted. They got swept in the playoffs. I'm not about to do it again. Too much energy. They need a point guard. Like, there's a point guard. Somebody, one of them, is playing them in the league. Doesn't have to be a good one. Preferably, it probably should be, but they need a point guard. They also need a big man. Do not give me Jusuf Nurkic. He has nothing left. On top of all the other niggas I said, the sport the way he does, can't defend, always hurt. He's always been a terrible player before. He's got, I think, the worst win percentage of any active player in the playoffs in his career. He's not that good. He's not that good at all. So they need a legit point guard and a legit big. How they're going to get that with 22nd overall pick in a bad draft and already deep in local tax, I have no freaking idea. Like, zero. So, no idea. They are completely screwed. Yeah, I like them hiring Mike Williams. He's a good coach, but he's going to be fired in 2 years when he doesn't win a championship. That's a mid-ass roster. But on to my NHL preview all-season series. We're going to finish up the non-playoff teams in the Eastern Conference. So we are going to start with the Buffalo Sabres, who have not had the longest playoff drought among all NHL teams, and one of the longest in all sports. The only other one that's longer might be the Jets, which is 14 years. Buffalo, every year I feel like they're about to take a step forward, and then they just don't. And it just doesn't happen. I mean, look, they have it. So they got $200.5 million of cap space. They have a decent amount of cap space. Also, have a somewhat okay draft pick. Look at pieces that they have. Rasmus Dahlin's really good. Do $11 million when the former number one pick, one of the best young defensemen in the game. Owen Power, former number one pick, is really good. Tate Thompson's very good. Dylan Cousins. They have a lot of good players. Alex Tuck. You picked up Bowen Byron at the trade deadline. In that trade, Jordan Green makes up 27. So you have some young pieces I like. The Jets going to contract obviously isn't great. He's 32, making $9 million a year with no movement clause. Alex Tuck, I heard, could be a potential trade candidate. He's got 2 years left. He's due $4.7 million. He's 28 right now. He's due $4.7 million each of the next 2 years. You think Buffalo's probably 2 or so years away from really a legit contender, so I could see him being a trade candidate. He's a very good player. Teams that need a top right wing. My favorite team, New York Rangers, is definitely a team that should be in the market for that. I've heard that name mentioned as a potential candidate. No one's hooked anything up, so it's so afraid it doesn't start for another week and a half or so. But that will make sense. He wouldn't cost a decent amount, but not a whole lot. And he fill a void that they need. I'm sure there are out there, of course, that could use the surf. He's a very good player. For Buffalo, they have a young goalie and Pekka Lehkonen, whatever his name is. He's still developing. They got to get better defensively in front of them. Outside of Rock Stelly and Nolan Power, 2 really good young guys. You have but now you have Bowen Byram. You have Matthias Samson's only 24. You have Connor Clifton as well. They need these guys to keep developing. They have a lot of young defensemen. They could probably use another center as well. Outside of Dylan Cousins, who I do like, there isn't really anyone up there I have that's scaring me. So I would get a really good center and maybe some better defensemen in front of their goaltending. So up next is the Philadelphia Flyers. Flyers have a very up and down year this past year. It seemed like 1 minute they were playing well and had a chance to sneak to the top 5 in the Eastern Conference. And then the next minute they were fading and pulling the race, and they would get back in and they'd fall out again. Flyers, they've been so mediocre for so long. They barely have any cap space, a little under $1 million in cap space. A lot of big contracts. For older guys. Sean Couturier is 32. He's making $7.7 million until 2030. Ryan Ellis was 34. He's due $6.2 million right now. He's signed through 2027. You have Cam Atkinson, who's due $5.8 million. He'll be a free agent. He's 35. Ron versus the Lions, making $5.1 million. He's 30. They honestly should just, I thought they should just tear this thing apart. They're just old. Look at the guy I just named. Trump Couturier, who was a really good player, has had a great career there. He's 32. Cam Atkinson, you have now, he's been around for a little bit. He's had a great career, but he's now 35. The rest of the Lions guy who's a good player, but now he's 30 years old. You have Ryan Johansson, who's 32. He doesn't really have much left. Scott Walton's 30. Nick Seaver's 31. Jordan Hathaway is 33. Ryan Ellis is 34. This team is old. There's a couple of guys that are young. Joel Fowler's 24. Travis Conant, he's 27. Owen Kemper's 25. Jimmy Drysdale, we still already know what he is 22. Other than that, Morgan Frost is 25. Other than that, this team is ancient. They are old. They are very old. You still got to pay a little, pay Tony D'Angelo $1.6 million on his buyout. He's currently playing. He's been on the Carolina Hurricanes. He's on the Carolina Hurricanes last year. Now he's a free agent. Wonder why he keeps jumping around. His god awful attitude. Douche. Do not miss him. Do not miss him on the Rangers. That's for sure. They need to get younger. It's simple as that. This team is old. They are ancient. They are freaking ancient. They need to get younger. Some of these are going to be hard to move. Couturier is 32. It's on a big contract and no movement clause. Atkinson's he's going to do $5.8 million and has a no movement clause. Those are the only guys who are over on big contracts that they have no movement clauses. But Ryan Ellis' contract is ugly. Bristol Lions isn't great. Even Ryan Johansson at $4 million is definitely overpaid. This is not going to be easy, but they need to get younger somehow. Even if it means, sacrificing a chance at the playoffs for multiple years, they got to get younger somehow. So this team is ancient. All right, now up next is going to be the Pittsburgh Penguins. So they're very competitive this year. Just missed the postseason, and they kind of need do a similar thing as Philly. They really need to get younger. They are old. Erik Karlsson's 34. I never understood them trading for him last year. I thought, okay, Karlsson's a great player coming off from a slowly great year for San Jose. Or probably the best defenseman in the game, arguably the best defenseman in the game. But the whole thing of Pittsburgh is that they're old. They got to get younger. So Pittsburgh decided the solution was let's trade for the time a 33-year-old defenseman on a huge contract, give up a ton to get him. That just didn't make a lot of sense. Obviously, he was going to get traded. He said, I'm done with San Jose. Please get me out of here. I don't blame him. The Sharks are awful. I don't think Pittsburgh wants a team to do that, but look, Sidney Crosby is an amazing player. I'm not a fan, but he is actually a future Hall of Fame, one of the all-time greats. But he's now 37. He's got a year left on his deal. He'll probably go to trade line. Chris Letang's now 37 years old. And him and Crosby both have no movement clauses. Letang can be harder to move because he's got 3 or 4 years left. Or only has a year left. Again, Malkin's going to be 38. He's due $6.1 million. He's got a no movement clause as well. Brian Russell's now 32. He's due $5.1 million. He's on a pretty big contract. Ricardo Raquel is now 31 years old. He's got a $5 million salary. Robbie Smith is now 33. He's got a $5 million salary on an expiring deal. Michael Bunting is now you got in the Karlsson trade. He's a good player, but he's 29. He's due $4.5 million for the next 2 years. He's got a no movement. Brian Graves is 29. He's due $4.5 million. He's on a big contract. No movement clause. Robert Patterson is 28. He's on an expiring deal, $4 million. No movement clause. Lars Eller is 35 on an expiring deal. Noah Curry is 33. This team might be the oldest team in the league. They are ancient. And I think it's time to break up a score. Crosby is one of the greatest Penguins of all time. I think you should move him. He's done everything he could possibly do for your franchise. He's won, I think, 3 Stanley Cups. He's got to be up there in every physical category possible. Future first ballot Hall of Famer, but he's only got a year left on his deal. I think you should move him. And just they need to get younger. They need a complete youth movement. They need the absolute youth. The last team we're going to cover today is the Detroit Red Wings. So Detroit, they obviously went from making the playoffs like 25 years in a row, and they haven't made it in like 8 years or something like that. Though each of the last 2 years, I thought it was finally the year they could make the jump back into the postseason. It hasn't quite happened. They got very close this year. On paper, they absolutely should get in next year. But they got $23.3 million in cap space. They have a good amount of cap space. Have a lot of good players. Dylan Larkin's a really good young player. DeBrinket's really good. You can do Comfer. Who's just a pretty good goalie. So you got some guys there. But they need to get better defensively. That's been an issue for quite a few years now. They have to get better defensively. Obviously, they're trying to follow this guys they're playing with Stevie Yzerman, run the show over there, run the hockey operations there. Defensively, Ben Chariot's pretty good, but he's a little older. Russell Cole, same deal. Jake Woolman's pretty good. Oli Mata is now 30. He's obviously on the older side. They need, I think, a really good young defenseman. If mine do it, but that's what I would do. Definitely get better defensively. Thought it would be Detroit Red Wings. But to finish off, we're going to talk about WWE Monday Night Raw. It was an incredible show. It started out with Seth Rollins returning. We had not seen him since night 2 of WrestleMania. If he lost his World Heavyweight for WrestleMania, he was just the star of it. Night 1, he made event in the tag team match with Cody Rhodes against The Rock and Roman Reigns. And night 2, he opened up. He defended his World Heavyweight Championship against McIntyre. Alpha. He dropped that. And then he was briefly involved in the main event between Cody and Roman Reigns. He's been battling injury. He's got like 3 broken bones in his back. He's had it for a few years. Right after, I think around the Royal Rumble or so, he had a torn meniscus, and he missed about a month. But like the fact that he missed a month of a torn meniscus is absolutely insane. That is unheard of. That's crazy. I mean, you can come back. I mean, torn meniscus isn't that bad. It's not like a torn ACL where you're guaranteed to miss at least 4, 5, 6 months. You can come back in 2 or 3 months from that. Well, a month is crazy. He's back. This guy's crazy. And look, this is a guy who's got broken bones in his back. He missed a month of a torn meniscus. He comes back for a couple of months, has knee surgery again shortly after WrestleMania. Like 2 months later, is back. This guy's a warrior. Became obviously a very cool fit again. And Damian Priest came out and said, I have a lot of respect for you. I wish you beat Matt Tussle. I could have cashed in on you. And they're going to fight for World Heavyweight title at Money in the Bank. So that should be exciting. It's Money in the Bank qualifying matches. The men and women's Money in the Bank match will have 6 superstars each, 3 from Raw and 3 from SmackDown. On the women's side, Io Sky beat Kiana James, Zelina Vega in a triple threat to qualify. Of course, she won it last year and then cashing in. And then Jey Uso beat Finn Balor, Rey Mysterio in a triple threat. Of course, you had the Judgment Day attack Rey Mysterio during the match. Then Braun Strowman chased them away. Jey Uso ended up winning the men's Money in the Bank match. And so he qualifies for Money in the Bank. It's unheard. Leaning towards he might be the one who wins Money in the Bank this year. We'll see what happens. Of course, afterwards you had Dom was trying to get his jacket back from Liv, and then Priest is like, Dom, what are you doing? I'm trying to get my jacket back, and he took it off. Priest is like, you leave the guy alone. He wants nothing to do with you. I think he wants everything to do with me and walked away. He was her love interest. Dom Mysterio basically just took off for Rhea Ripley. And you had Braun Strowman and Chad Gable on the match. Of course, Otis finally attacked Chad Gable, and him, Zawa, and Maxine left. And Chad Gable said, I'm going to win the World Heavyweight title. And he said, I want a match. Went to the ring, and Braun Strowman goes out there and beat him without much trouble. Corito defeated Dragon Lee. course, you had interference from the Judgment Day LWO, and Liv Morgan got involved. Then Drew McIntyre came to the ring and said, he basically had lost for words, and he said, "Screw this company, I quit." Adam Pearce tried to get him to change his mind. Triple H did the same, didn't work. Obviously didn't actually quit, but the story from him and CM Punk continues to get better and better. You had Caden Carter and Katana Chance want to tag him to get down control. Not much to see there. They had a great segment when Sami Zayn came out. So, I put Chad Gable behind me. Then Braun Breaker came out. They had a promo by Braun Breaker. We also know we can do in the ring. His mic skills are getting better and better. And Sheamus came out. They got in each other's faces. They ended up having a match which was supposed to determine who eventually would face Sami Zayn. But of course, Logan Kaiser got involved. He attacked Sheamus. Well, I love what he did with his character as well. Him getting a singles run. And then, Braun Breaker spear Sheamus. Then, security tried to lead Braun Breaker away, and Logan Kaiser tried running back after Sheamus. And Braun Breaker, at the speed of light, beat him to it and speared a hole through Logan Kaiser. That guy's athleticism is absolutely just crazy. Absolutely insane. But that Sheamus technically won by disqualification. And, of course, Uncle Howdy and his friends made an impact. That was an incredible reveal for the Wyatt Six. That was absolutely amazing. You had in the earlier all the knocked out. You had Chad Gable knocked out. You had blood on his face. You saw Nikki Cross and Sister Abigail crawling towards the lantern. You saw Rowan. He had the old Bludgeon Brothers hammer. Of course, him and late great Luke Harper were attacking him as the Bludgeon Brothers. They used to have those big hammers. And you had one of the other guys was Joe Gacy. Dexter Lumis was one of the other guys. And of course, Uncle Howdy was murdered. It was bone chilling. It looked like a horror movie. It was incredible, perfect. And although you think, all right, there's only 5 of them, I do think the 6th member, because I told the Wyatt Six, is technically Bray Wyatt, as a spirit. This is the direction they were going before Bray Wyatt tragically passed away. It was, of course, very sad, and I'm really happy they get to do his Bray Wyatt's honor. And I'm very happy for Bo Dallas. He's tons of wrestler never really got a shot under events, and now he's got a really good opportunity. So I'm very happy for Uncle Howdy and his friends. But that's all I got for you guys today. Till next time, so long, and have a great day.